What's going on YouTube? This is Jake here with Venture Visuals, and today I'm going to be breaking down some effects used in Jack Harlow's music videos. I'm really excited about this video because I did a lot of research on Jack Harlow's music videos and dissecting what his editors use in each of his videos and just trying to come up with my own way to recreate some of those effects, which I'm going to show you guys today. So before we jump into the video, I just want to mention that Jack Harlow is not really somebody who has a lot of effects used in his music videos. The ones that are used are mostly subtle effects. They're not that over the top. They're really more meant to be cinematic, filled with lots of really good B-roll, good lighting, good locations, good actors. He's definitely investing a lot into his own music videos to get that look that he has. But today we're just going to be focused on the edits and the effects that are used in his music videos. So I wasn't able to find that much information on YouTube about who's editing Jack Harlow's music videos, but I was able to find out that he's worked with the likes of Cole Bennett, a director by the name of Ace Pro, who's shot multiple videos for him, and I was at least able to find one name. His name is Troy Charbonnet, and I know he's edited at least one of Jack Harlow's music videos, so I'm assuming that he maybe has touched more than just that one music video that I saw his name on. But Jack Harlow seems like he moves around and works with different filmmakers, different editors, depending on the vibe of the video. So one of the first effects I want to explain today is just a simple swipe transition from left to right. Now you'll notice this effect being used in several of Jack Harlow's music videos. Specifically, I noticed it being used in the Tyler Hero music video around 51 seconds, and then there's a few more throughout that video. And this is a very simple effect to do, and all you really need is After Effects and motion blur. Combine that with your clips in Premiere Pro and you got a beautiful effect. So as you can see in my Premiere Pro timeline, I have two clips of a music video I shot with an artist named Rudil. This music video is called Pressure. It's on my YouTube channel. You can see here we have an indoor shot of him rapping, and then we have an outdoor shot of him just kind of hanging out. So this is where the next clip will come in. We want to unlink this clip underneath from the audio and just expand it underneath for as long as this transition is going to go for. I would suggest this transition lasts between 5 and 6 frames. So we're just going to tab over 6 frames from this split. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. So obviously it's going to be very short, so we can delete that excess. And now we have this, the first clip on top of the second clip. So now what we can do is go ahead and highlight both those clips, right click, and hit replace with After Effects composition. Now that we're in After Effects here, and we have our top clip here, and as you can see we have our bottom clip here, what we need to do is we need to expand our composition size by twice. So we need to take our width and multiply it by 2. So 1920 times 2 is 3840. So we're going to type in 3840 on the width. So now we have enough room for 2 clips right next to each other. So what we want to do is just drag this clip all the way to the left to where we can't see the edge of it anymore, and then we're going to drag this bottom clip all the way to the right where we perfectly line up those edges. So as you can see, there's no background happening. We just have clip 1 and clip 2. What we need to do is just parent this second clip to the first clip. What this is going to do is it's just going to say, hey, wherever this first clip moves or however it moves, this clip is going to be attached to it, and it's just going to follow along. So we're just going to take this pick whip, this parent pick whip, and drag it to our first clip up top. So now that we have the clips connected to each other, you can see when I move that one clip, that top clip, the second one is now going to follow. With this top clip, we're going to go ahead and come up to align, and we're going to hit center. So that's going to bring it back to the center of our composition here. So now what we're going to do is change our composition back to 1920 like this, and we're just going to go ahead and keyframe the position of our top clip where we want the transition to stop or to start. So obviously the transition is going to start here when the second clip starts to come in, and then what we're going to do is go to the end where the transition is going to be complete. We want to be able to make sure we see that first clip still, and then we're going to make sure that we drag this over just like this until we have this new clip that is completely right in the middle. Perfect, just like that. Another thing I do want to mention is you want to make sure that you have the motion blur turned on each of these layers here and right here. So this will just enable it so that when there's motion, it will blur. As you can see, we have some motion blurring happening behind, so you get that transparent background. You can turn off the transparency grid right here on After Effects, and that's just going to kind of blur it a little bit better. So the next thing we're going to do is take both these keyframes, highlight them, right click, and hit Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease. Now we're just gonna click on this first one and we're gonna hit Graph Editor. So now we're just gonna mess with the speed of the keyframes by just dragging out these little handles down here. And this is just gonna make the movement a little bit smoother. So now when we play this back, you can see the transition. Right there. Again, really smooth. So now that I'm done with this, I'll hit Save, Command S, and that will take it right back into Premiere Pro. And now when I scroll over, you can see here, the transition goes right into Premiere Pro, and I don't even have to export out of After Effects. So that is my first effect that is used in Jack Harlow's music videos that I wanted to talk about today. For his video Route 66, I realized that he does a lot of these film looks. He has a lot of these like vintagey kind of clips. I wanted to talk to you guys about how you can easily recreate kind of like a film look on your own footage. So in my timeline here, we have a couple other short clips of just like kind of B-roll clips. And what we're gonna do is basically just take these clips and turn them into something that looks a little bit more film-like. So the first thing I always recommend doing is just downloading some black bars off of Google, and if I pull up my Safari right here, you can see that I just looked up some black bars on Google, and the first one works just fine. And so you can download that and drag it into your timeline, which I have right here. And then you can just drag that over your footage, and you'll see when I turn off the layer, the top and the bottom now have the black bar, which just makes it look a little bit more HD film-like. Step 2 is we're gonna put some noise on these clips. So we're just gonna come over to our effects tab and type in noise under noise and grain, and we're just gonna plop it right there on our clip, and we're gonna turn it up to maybe like 40%. And we're just gonna take that same noise, we're gonna add it to the other clips here that we have that we want it to look more film-like. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use an effect called Posterize Time. Posterize Time controls the frame rate of different video clips. So this is a really cool effect to kind of make your clips look a little bit more vintage and slow the frame rate down, because old school film has a much slower frame rate than say modern day cameras, where you're able to film at like 60 frames per second, 30 frames per second, 120 frames per second. So we want to slow our frame rate way down to get this film look. So what we're gonna do is drag this Posterize Time onto our first clip, and we're gonna slow our frame rate down to something like 17. So this is just gonna take out some of the frames in this video clip. Take the same Posterize Time and apply it to our other clips right here. So now when you play it back, you can see it's kind of like old school, laggy. It looks like there's frames missing, it's more choppy. I love this effect so much because you can really get a really cool film look out of it. What I like to do to sauce it up even more is use these things called light leaks. Now I have a pack of light leaks on my website, venturevisuals.com. You can even try them out for free. What I like to do is just take these same light leaks that I've created and just drag them over top of my footage. So you'll see this light leak right here at the bottom. Now if you do download these light leaks, the opacity blend mode is gonna by default be normal. So when you put them over top of your footage, you have to change it to screen. And then when I play that back, you can see we get a little flare at the bottom. So I notice a lot of like vintage film clips have these light leaks on them. So here's another one that I've created in my pack that you can find on my website. So it just adds like another dimension to like the overall film look, and it helps like just make the visual pop a little bit more. There's a million ways to go about developing your own creative film look, but this is just one easy, simple way directly in Adobe Premiere Pro without having to download any third-party plugins or pay money for different filters for your footage. This is an entirely free effect, and I think it's really cool. So the third effect I'm gonna be breaking down today is basically just rotoscoping combined with a glitch effect. Now, if you've seen the Sundown music video by Jack Harlow, you'll notice that the people in the video in the background, even Jack himself, I'm pretty sure, kind of glitch around in the video. And I'm going to show you guys an example of this effect in my own videos. Now this is another video I shot with Rudil last summer. It's called Disastrous. It's also on my YouTube channel. And basically what we have here are two layers. So this layer on top is him rapping, and then the layer below is just a tripod shot of the area that he was sitting in. I've already cut out the areas where I want the glitch to be happening. So the first thing I want to do, so I don't have to mess around with frame rate in After Effects while I'm rotoscoping, is just right click this first section and hit nest, hit OK, and I'm going to go ahead and go right back to it, hit right click again, and hit replace with After Effects composition. This will import it directly into Adobe After Effects, which we can see right here. So now when I go up to my Roto Brush tool, I can double click on this layer and I can just start tracing out who I want to have glitching. So obviously we have Rudil in this frame, and we're just gonna kind of trace around him and get his body. I'm gonna tab over using the 2 key, and as you can see, the Roto Brush is really smart. It does a really good job of like grabbing whatever it is that you're tracing without having to trace over it too much. So it's really fast to go through this process. So when I go back to composition in After Effects, we just have him getting cut out, right? What we need to do now is turn on the transparency behind him like this. Now obviously this isn't the best rotoscope. You can see his head's not great. We still got some rocks underneath, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time rotoscoping. I'm just going to show you how this effect is created. What we need to do now is hit save, Command S, and we're gonna hop back here into Premiere Pro. So now we have him chopped out of the background. If I turn this off, he's just gone. Boom, like that. So in order to create this glitch effect, we're gonna click on this layer that we've just traced in After Effects. We're gonna come over here to our Effects tab, and we're gonna type in this effect called Offset. Now this is just gonna jitter the frame around a little bit. So we're just gonna go ahead and make a keyframe right here at the beginning. Maybe come 3 frames over, maybe 2, and just kind of like move him around a little bit like that. Maybe another frame over here, maybe another frame he's a little lower, maybe this frame he's a little bit farther to the left. Great. And then maybe he's back a little bit, maybe he's back up a little bit. It's going to be part of the glitch, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and you can definitely experiment with this. And then he'll just go back to normal at the very end. Right there, we'll reset it. So he just kind of glitches around like that. And now what we're going to add is an effect called Color Emboss. So we're gonna go ahead and go back to our Effects tab and look up this effect called Color Emboss. We're gonna drag that onto him as well. Now we wanna come to the beginning of this clip and just make keyframes for each of these at the beginning of the clip and just reset them all. And then we're gonna go to a little bit farther in the overall glitch. We're just gonna increase some of these so that they kind of like just get a little wonky, and we're just gonna play around with them a little bit. Maybe they can even go back for 0 for a second, and we can turn it up again, just like that. Now he's really going crazy. And then at the very end, you're just gonna reset everything back to normal again. So now we kind of have him like glitching around just like that. Go to an effect called Turbulent Displace. And I like to use this on a lot of different things, but for this we're just going to do horizontal displacement, and we're going to make it 0 in the very beginning, everything to 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and just make keyframes for all of these at the very beginning. And then we're going to come over to like the middle part right here where the glitch should be happening like the most, and we're going to turn up the amount a lot. So you can see here, now we're really getting a glitch effect. And then we'll come all the way back to the end and turn that amount back down to 0. So now he really looks like he's glitching around the frame. I love this effect. So again, we combined Offset with Color Emboss with Turbulent Displace to get this like glitch effect, which I think is really cool. It's not exactly probably what they did in the Jack Harlow edit, but I just wanted to give you guys some insight as to how I would make a similar effect and do it myself in one of my own music videos. So definitely check this effect out and let me know what you think down below in the comments. Now this last effect is again another kind of combination of effects, and mostly just simple effects that I notice in Jack Harlow's music videos. So a lot of his music videos are obviously filmed in like 4K, 8K, 10K maybe even, I don't know. But regardless, if you're shooting in 4K and above, you can have the ability to punch in on your footage to zoom in and out without losing any quality. So a lot of people who shoot these higher budget music videos are shooting in 4K and above, and what they're doing is they're shooting a little bit farther away and then they're punching in to certain things in the different scenes that are happening. And that's what they do in a lot of Jack Harlow's music videos. They do a lot of tripod shots where they're just adding artificial zoom afterwards, and they're not zooming in camera, they're just doing it in post. And then what they also do is they combine some of those zoom effects with some speed effects. So this could be like slowing frames down and then speeding them up again and then slowing them down again when there's another moment or the bass is hitting. They do a lot of stuff with speed in punch-ins. So I do have a video clip here from a music video I edited this year, and I want you guys to just kind of see how I use speed in some of these clips. So let's check it out. So this sequence right here, it starts with his gun clip, right? And he's waving the gun, and this is in slow motion, so watch this. So that's a nice slow motion clip of him like waving the gun. Then what happens is the next clip right after that, which is the same clip, is sped up to 700%. So again, to speed things down, I'm clicking on the clip, hitting Command R, and you can pull up the speed right here. So this videographer filmed in, I believe, 60 frames per second, which meant that I could slow motion his footage, and it was very easy and smooth to do so. Important thing to remember is that if you're shooting in any frame rate under 60 frames per second and you try to do slow motion clips in Premiere Pro, it's probably gonna look a little clunky. So you definitely want to make sure that you're always shooting in like 60 frames per second, especially if you're anticipating that you're going to be doing slow motion in your editing software afterwards. So definitely shoot in 60 frames, 120 frames, 240 frames per second to get these super crispy slow motion effects. Obviously, I slowed this one down 45%, and then it speeds up here to 700%, and then the clip after that goes back down to 45%. So we're going really slow to really fast to really slow again. And on top of that, I also added one of my light leaks from my pack, which you can also get on VenterVisuals.com. So altogether, it looks like this. And you can see here on this next clip, it goes right into this slow motion clip at 45, and then it comes out of it really quick back to full motion. So we're going from slow to fast to slow to regular motion. It gives it a really cool style in terms of just the overall flow of the edit. So check it out one more time. So to kind of wrap things up, I just want to reiterate that it's not really the effects that Jack Harlow has in his music videos that make it so good. It's usually the film style, the directing, and overall concept, the lighting, the people in the videos that really make his videos stand out from the rest. Now, I know a lot of people love their effects, and I do too personally. I just know that Jack Harlow isn't someone who has an abundance of video editing effects in his music videos, and I just wanted to touch on some of his effects that he's used in the past on some of his music videos and just give you guys a little bit more insight about how they might be creating some of those effects. Please let me know down in the comments what kind of tutorials you would want to see next, and definitely list some artists that you enjoy watching down below, because I'd love to dissect some of your guys' favorite artists' music videos. So definitely let me know down below. And if any of you guys are editors who are interested in downloading overlays, transitions, other filmmaking assets, check out my website, VenterVisuals.com. I worked really hard to create some assets that are really helpful for not only me in my videos, but also other editors out there. And I do have some stuff on the website that you can download completely free. So definitely check that out. I'll leave the links down below. And I just want to say that I really appreciate you guys tuning into my tutorial. Until next time, I'm Jake Venner. Peace out.